Hi, my name is Regis Medrano, and this is my project on solving the substance abuse aspect of crime. Okay, what is crime? Why might it be a problem? Well, crime, according to Britannica, is the International Commission of an act usually deemed socially harmful or dangerous and specifically defined, prohibited and punishable under criminal law. This I have most of my credibility on the bibliography, but Britannica is credible because it requires multiple moderators to manage the posts that might want to be approved on there and manage other changes, unlike Wikipedia, which anyone can post. Many crimes affect others' lives negatively, like murder or sexual assault. Murder, you're killing someone. Sexual assault, you are sexually assaulting someone. That's very bad for reasons I feel like I do not need to say. Incarcerating someone for a crime is costly for the government. The average total in California is about $1,280,000 per year per person. And there are about 90,000 people in California prison. Now, that doesn't account for every single state in the country or maybe other countries, but it does show just how costly it may be for one state. What about substance abuse? Substance abuse is the excessive use of a drug, such as alcohol, narcotics, or cocaine, and use of a drug without medical justification, according to the Merriam-Webster Dictionary. How does substance abuse affect you? So we have alcohol here, and other substances like marijuana, I believe. That could be a lot. I think that is crack, and pills. When you take marijuana, let's say, there's a certain chemical that's in marijuana, THC, or tetrahydrocannabinol, which goes into your bloodstream and relaxes pretty much everything in your body. Your muscles, your mind. It sharpens your senses, yes, but it does relax your body. While this seems good, short term, there are many problems that come with it. Like, if you're smoking marijuana, it's going into your lungs. That stays in your lungs. That gunk, the marijuana, stays in your lungs. Another one is nicotine, like in e-vapes. Not e-vapes, e-cigarettes, more commonly called vapes. That nicotine is metal. It's a metal, and it's in your lungs. That hurts. That's metal in your lungs. And alcohol, some people think of it as a more intense version of this, which I wouldn't necessarily agree with that, but it does relax your body, similarly to marijuana or crack. But it's different in the sense, I'll get to that later. Why does this matter? Substance abuse is like a disease. It can very, very easily spread from person to person. One way is peer pressure. I'm sure a lot of people have heard of maybe your friends who are smoking and want you to smoke. This is peer pressure. Other people wanting you to smoke, so maybe you smoke too. It's bandwagon. This drags other people in, and then maybe because you were affected by peer pressure, you think it's cool to peer pressure other people. While you may not think that exact sentence, you will justify it in your head. So you will bring other people, and that it spreads like a virus. Another way is through family. Like, A very, very common example is having an alcoholic parent. That alcoholic parent isn't necessarily the best all the time, because when you alcohol, it's addictive. Like most substances, it is very addictive, and the negative effects don't help. It's aggressive, if that's the right word. But it's, if you've ever seen someone withdrawing, they might be violent. Like there's a very the symptoms for withdrawal are when you are withdrawing from something, the symptoms are very, very similar when it comes to alcohol and other substances. There is a viral video where someone is searching through their car for their vape and smashes their window. Like, they kick their window in. When you are, this behavior follows when you are around other people. It doesn't go away just because you are around other people. So when you live with someone for many, many years of your life, and they are addicted to alcohol and things like that, they may get very violent with you. This is a big part of why abuse occurs, because they are different. Alcohol changes you. It will, in most cases, make you much more violent. Even, especially during withdrawals, there's a certain chemical that goes through your body, especially during like not normal substances like marijuana and stuff like that. There's a certain chemical that goes through your body that it can kill you if the withdrawal is hard enough. So if you are surrounded by that environment of people who use substances like this, you may yourself in the future use these substances. It is quite common. It's similar to the obesity. Like, there was a statistic. I believe it was, if you have two obese parents, you are 70 or 80% likely to be obese when you grow up. And of course it goes down the less obese parents you have, but it is still a very big increase. Why substance abuse relates to crime. In 2017, a study reported that 21% of sentenced people in state prisons and local jails are incarcerated for crimes committed to obtain drugs or money for drugs. A good percent of all sentenced people are there for substance abuse. Well, 21% isn't a quarter, or it might not seem like a lot. State prisons hold a lot of people, especially in the whole country. We have millions and millions of people in our country, so it is pretty big when people who are incarcerated, 21% of all people who are incarcerated in state prisons are there for substance abuse related issues. While money for drugs doesn't have a direct link to substance abuse, it could mean that they are feeding into someone else's substance abuse, or they do have a substance abuse. Because if you are selling marijuana, it is likely that you try your own product and you get addicted yourself. But a big part of it is drunk drivers, or driving under the influence, DUIs. This is when you have excessive amounts of alcohol in your system, which impedes your ability to decide and function properly. Most of the time leads to crashes, many fatal, not just for you, but for other people around you. Like if you have other people in your car, like your family, or someone you crashed into, if you crashed into someone. This is very big because this endangers many lives, especially when substance abuse spreads like a virus. when it spreads like a virus and it's fatal, it's gonna kill people. My solution. Part of my solution is to mandate the teaching of substances such as marijuana, alcohol, and cannabis. This will help raise awareness. This does have limitations. This will be hard to do across the country or across other countries because you will need a lot of approval and agreement to integrate this into school curriculums. And other countries may not have as strict regulations on drugs and substances as we do, so it may be harder for them if they're more used to it to integrate it into their school system. And another limitation is that you are teaching kids about, although you are teaching them mostly about the bads of this, you are exposing them to this. It should be shown to preteens and preteens going into teens, because if you show little kids this, their imagination will probably run wild and they will likely want to try it. If you tempt someone with something that they've never had, it is likely that they will want it. Another part of my solution is to make our regulations on drugs a little stricter. This is not a big part of it because we already have so much strict regulations, and making these stricter could likely possibly cause other problems. A lot of people like to point towards immigration, like how immigration may bring drugs here. If you follow that and you close the borders, it could cause other problems, like with foreign relations. But yeah, this is my bibliography. I explained the credibility to this. First one I already explained. The second one was from loa.ca.gov. This is an official government website for California legislation. They most definitely have a vested interest to tell the truth and keep their reputation. Then Merriam-Webster. It is the Merriam-Webster dictionary. You have to be part of the team to post there. And prisonpolicy.org. I cannot say too much about this, but it does have official studies from somewhat credible to good credibility sources. I cannot say much about the rest.